Hello, welcome to our OSU RIO live streaming Thursday telecast. I'm Patrick Dangle, Executive Producer of Telecast Programming at The Ohio State University South Centers. We at the South Centers collaborate with the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College to promote small businesses, educational programs, students, faculty, aquaculture, horticulture programs, as well as business organizations. You know, our mission is simple: to provide educational programming regarding growing our communities in Southern Ohio, as well as in the state of Ohio and its surrounding states, and likewise on a global basis. We have had over 100,000 viewers and listeners tuning in to our different telecasts, which also encompasses 178 countries. This week's theme is international culture within our universities and how our telecasts assist people that we serve. Skyping in is Michael Chrisman, he's the Assistant Director, and Greg Leckie, who is a Program Coordinator with the Ohio Program. This is an international exchange program located at the Ohio State University, specializing in internships for horticulture, agriculture, and turf grass. So it's my pleasure to welcome Michael and Greg. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It is a pleasure having two distinguished individuals. It's my understanding that both of you come to the table with a lot of unique backgrounds. So let's start with you, Michael, and tell us, the listening audience, a little bit about yourself.
Well, good morning. I grew up in Ohio and attended Ohio State University and found that I had a great interest in international programming. And since OSU is a rather large place, I found a way to fit that into my degree. Universities require their students to do a period of internship, and most of the students that we bring here for internships are doing it for credit from their home university.
Oh.
Right now, I could say that in my background, I did an internship in France when I was an undergraduate, and also studied in India. Both in the field of agriculture. And that's what put me onto this idea. And so 38 years ago, we developed this exchange program.
Oh, I think that's great. So Greg, how about you? What is your background?
Well, I was born in Poland, and my name used to be Grzegorz Łęcki, which most people in America find hard to pronounce, so now they call me Greg Leckie. And my background is in horticulture. I have a degree in horticulture. I participated in Mike's program in 2000, and I went back to Poland to finish my university. In the meantime, Mike invited me to come back and to do short internship in the office with the mission to promote the program to Eastern Europe. So that's in 2003. In September, I came back to the USA. I was supposed to stay here 1 year. It's been now almost 14 years, and for some reason I am still here.
Well, I'm glad you are, because it sounds like you've been touching, both of you have been touching a lot of lives. Let's talk a little bit. First of all, you have my curiosity. You have placements in horticulture, agriculture, and turf grass. Turf grass?
That's correct.
Golf courses.
Yeah. We have a number of students who come to us from Australia, the UK, Southern European countries, with an interest in golf course keeping, golf course management. Hopefully, we train them up to the point where they can assume either a superintendent's position upon return home or an assistant superintendent. Usually those are very well paid positions back in their home country, and we have a large group of golf courses here in the United States who are very willing to do the training. And golf is an international sport. Also requires a lot of agronomy to keep the golf course going, but it is a sport, and because of that, it ends up on television quite a lot. So whenever you see a PGA event here in the United States, you can be sure that we have 5 or 6 of our students who are volunteering there to gain the experience.
Very good. Both of your backgrounds, you've had degrees in agriculture. What has been your history or your involvement with agriculture? Have both of you grew up on farms?
Well, okay, you go first, Mike.
All right, fine. I grew up on a farm here in Ohio, and until I left for college, and then studied agriculture here. The farm is still in our family, so I do get involved a little bit with that. Now, Greg grew up in horticulture.
That's right. My parents operate, now they semi-retired, but they operate a greenhouse place in Poland and growing ornamentals and some vegetables. So my childhood was always working hard in greenhouses, growing food and flowers.
Oh, that's interesting. I can't say enough about the agriculture, the horticulture, the aquaculture is extremely important throughout the world and on a global basis. Since our world is shrinking, people are people, regardless of what country. If we leave politics out, let's face it, food, the growing of food is extremely important for everyone. And your program not only helps individuals better understand how to better grow, but it also helps individuals see that what works in one place will also work in many others.
Yeah, that's correct. We, both of us and my entire staff here, gain great satisfaction in placing a young person with an interest in dairy who may have grew up on a dairy farm in Ireland or in France, and placing them with a dairy farmer here in Ohio or in the Midwest. Similar conditions, but so many differences in the way that production is obtained. The feedstuffs, the management, the breeding, the regulations that apply here that may not apply in Europe. And I could say that 98% of the time we're quite successful because we're placing a young dairy farmer with a dairy farmer here in the United States, and with a farmer here in the States who's willing to teach them. We have a lot of great people out there who are willing to do the teaching, to provide housing and sometimes transportation, and also offer the students at least minimum wage for their work.
Well, I know that in farms, it is labor intensive to some degree.
Right, and you mentioned about this globalization and the world being smaller. I think part of our mission is to build those connections, build those bridges. We see many times that interns would come here, meet with some people, meet with some farmers. They go back, but they continue this relationship, and also quite often it is not only based on friendship, but on business communication and relationships. So we've got some import-export businesses coming up to life because of their participation in our program. We have jobs created and jobs gained because of these connections that we try to create here.
Boy, that's so true. Recently, we had individuals from the South Centers visit Israel and look at how they are growing things. And because Israel is a smaller country, they have to better utilize the land than we in the United States because we are much, much larger. And so, just like what you're saying, it's a give and take. We just not only teach, we also learn from other countries too. So that's a good point you made.
Indeed. And part of this is also our efforts to promote our program to young Americans, and so that we can offer them internships abroad, and we do it every year. The number is not very large, but it is increasing every year. I am now working, for example, on sending two OSU students for internship to Poland. We are planning to hopefully send one to Thailand, right, and
Yes.
Indonesia later this year. I am also going to be sending one to the Netherlands, to a big horticultural company called Doom Orange. These young Americans come back to the USA with this not only professional, but just an international experience with new ideas, open minds, better understanding of the world.
That is true. You know, I've had the opportunity to talk with a few of your students. One in particular was Karen Dewey, and very delightful young lady. English-wise, you know, she had only been in the States for 6 months, but her English was excellent. Mm-hmm. And it is interesting that other countries teach English or they teach two languages, and so that got me to question. Let's suppose I was a student that wished to go over to Poland. Would I need to understand Poland or Polish? Or
no, we would very carefully select a company with staff that speaks English fluently, which these days is not an issue at all within Europe. A number of people in the Polish company that these two Americans will visit speak fluent English, and I actually visited the company in September personally and verified the placement is very suitable for this internship.
And it's my understanding you've had many successful placements. 300, 400, is that correct, or is it more?
It's about 400 per year.
Wow.
With the staff we have, that keeps everybody quite busy doing orientations and welcoming them at the airport and things like that. Also, we travel out to visit almost all of our interns during the year, and they would be in 30, 32 different states. So we do a lot of travel. During the winter months, we do a lot of travel to foreign universities and give presentations and recruit. But many times at those universities, we have cooperating faculty members. Some of them are alumni of Ohio State University, and they may only send us 2 or 3. But when we're dealing with 60 or 70 universities, that makes a program for us.
Sure.
And it also reestablishes that good relationship between Ohio State and the alumni, not only of our program, but of the wider university.
Yeah.
That is true. You know, someone once said that you can go to any university in the world, and out of 100 people, you always find one person that has touched their educational experience with Ohio State University.
It very much seems like it, yes.
And I think that's I think it's very important. You know, many people have a viewpoint of Ohio State University being a football team or a basketball team, but really the educational programs that we have inside the university touch many lives, as what you're showing.
Well, since the beginning of our program, we've had 12,000 participants.
Wow.
So 12,000 people from around the world have come here and done practical training. Some of them attended classes as a part of their internship, and they feel a great gratitude towards the university for that experience, and they carry it with them. We find students still in touch with us, and of course through social media, that's a little easier these days to maintain a relationship with them.
Yes, yeah, I very much agree.
And they also become our best recruiters. Friends of friends, several families in Brazil have sent us cousins through the program to great success. Really.
Oh, very good, very good. So let me better understand the process. Suppose I live in Poland, and I grew up on a farm. I'll be quite frank with you. I know a little bit about Poland, so if I speak out of turn, you know, what's a typical agricultural student in Poland?
The typical agriculture historically used to be a big part of the economy in Poland. This is now changing dramatically, very, very quickly. Since Poland joined the EU, a lot of money has been invested in Poland, and a lot of farms are now very, very large. And the number of students of agriculture is smaller and smaller. But then, at the same time, they want to have more global exposure because they understand the need for it. So this typical student in Poland would visit the international office at the university, be it Warsaw or Wrocław or Poznań, and ask for opportunities abroad. Hopefully the staff of the international office would interview the student and provide him with information about our program. They complete our application. We speak with them multiple times, usually using Skype. And then the collected information, the application, we would share with companies in America, arrange some additional interviews directly with the company, and then work on the visa process so they can start their internship in the U.S.
Oh, very good.
And they usually stay 6, 8 months.
6
or 12.
Okay. And do many are there a number of students that usually go back what they have learned, or do they stay here in the United States?
That almost never happens these days. They typically have attractive opportunities back in their home country, and staying in America, most Americans don't realize that, but it's extremely difficult to remain in the USA, to legally work here. It's next to impossible. So many of them would have family farms waiting for them back in their home countries, you know, and their parents want them to take over the business, so they go back. Very, very few of them. I think it's less than 2%, perhaps less than 1% that would stay here in the USA.
Yeah, it's my understanding that in order to get a long-term commitment of a country, they have to fulfill a position that is not readily available to United States citizens. And
that's correct. Most of our interns who come to us are undergraduate students. They'd be in the 3rd year or 4th year of their degree, and they have to return to finish that degree. And it's rather impossible for them to stay here without a degree.
Yeah.
Unless they happen to get married, and we can't stop love when it happens. So that's our 1% who actually remain.
Very good, very good. You know, down at the Ohio State University South Centers, we have a number of different individuals that are in the research, agriculture, aquaculture, horticulture research programs. They come from China, Nepal, India, several other countries. And it's really great to work with individuals from different cultures because, first of all, you really see people are people. And, you know, getting outside of the politics, people want to be treated like they treat other individuals. And I would imagine you're sort of in a fortunate position to where you can see the quality of individuals, whether they are from the United States, Poland, Thailand, etc. People are people.
Right, and I think we've been very fortunate. The way we recruit participants in our program, as Mike mentioned, it's very involved, in depth, and we are very fortunate to have a group of excellent young people in the program that are very motivated to do well. They want to have a good time in America, and they work hard to achieve that. So it's easy for us to work with them because, like you said, they come here with good values, good ethical and moral values, and typically don't give us much trouble.
Yeah, yeah. So we talked about the application process for outside students. So suppose that I'm a student here in, I'm in agriculture, so I can also apply to go to other countries for 6 months. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, 3 months is very typical, but we have occasionally Americans that remain abroad for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Right? And we work with, the process is reversed, I suppose. We work with our partners abroad, with universities and oftentimes government organizations or non-for-profit institutions to
Young farmers groups.
Yeah, farmers group, that's right, to identify placements abroad. And then we just reverse the process. We help with the visa, health insurance, and everything
Very
for
good.
Americans to go abroad.
Very good. So do I have a choice, or do I come to you saying I'd like to go abroad? What do you have available, or?
Yes, we are sort of a clearinghouse. We receive offers from abroad, and we
I see.
advertise those on our website to OSU students, and unfortunately, not too many people take advantage of it.
Yeah, I know.
But most of the places that we're offering are probably alumni of our program or OSU who would like to get involved. They're sending students from their college or university here, and they also would like to help in placing OSU students in their area.
Oh, very good. Now, is there a special cost to this, or if I'm a student, obviously I'm paying tuition, etc. But to go over to another country, is it at my cost, or does the university help? You know, how does that work?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's I think it's actually a very attractive proposition. There is a number of scholarships available.
Great.
And the American students at this moment, they pay to our office, I believe it's $350 application fee, but oftentimes this is later once they come back to the USA and, for example, publish a story or write an article. This is oftentimes refunded. Besides that, there is a so-called STEP program that offers $2,000 for experience that will help to develop a career to the student.
Great.
And our program qualifies for this scholarship, so that's $2,000. There is a number of additional opportunities to get scholarships for Americans that would help them to gain experience abroad.
Very good.
So in most
Excellent.
cases, there is the investment is not very much, or in fact they can travel at zero cost.
What a great learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is just
Also,
fantastic.
with the STEP program, since we're involved with that at the university, that means that the student can use their loan funds or any scholarship funds or any scholarships through OSU to take part in the program. And so our idea of students coming here or sending students is that it's at least a break-even situation.
Yeah.
That at the end of the program, they have not exhausted university funds to take part in the program.
Understand.
The money they earn abroad for our students and for the students coming here are basically going to pay all the fees of the program plus their travel.
Okay. All right. Well, we have about 2 minutes left. You have an excellent website, and it's called the Ohio Program, all one word, .org. And there's a lot of information on there. As a matter of fact, it talks about what the purpose is, who the individuals are, and I know you use the acronym, the Ohio Program, as TOP, and it's just
yes. The programs that we work with in Europe and universities started calling us the Ohio Program, and so we thought, well, that's good. We're the top program, so we thought that worked well, and we didn't come up with the idea ourselves, but we had a much longer name, but now we just use the acronym TOP.
Well, I think it's really great. Your website really goes into a lot of detail and information. Even talks about communications. It has a number of different pages for students to take a look at. When I was going to school in my younger years, I wish this had been available to me.
Well, interestingly, I hear this so many times when I visit, let's say, greenhouses or gardens, public gardens in the USA. A lot of the staff, the management staff, they tell me, I wish I had taken such opportunity when I was at the college.
I know.
These opportunities exist, and they will hopefully continue to exist. But it's just a matter of I suppose it's a bit of a challenge, right? To travel independently abroad to participate in the program, but I think it's very much worth it. It's a great investment in the future, and just an amazing adventure, really.
I very much agree with you. We're talking with Michael Chrisman. He's the assistant director, and Greg Leckie. He's the program coordinator with the TOP program, or the Ohio program, that's located at the Ohio State University, in which they provide internships for horticulture, agriculture, and turf. Turf grass. Excuse me. I guess I'm running out of time here. I do hope that you two will come on, bring some of your students that can be interviewed on our cultural theme day. Our goal is to show individuals throughout the global basis that there are a lot of great people, regardless of what country you're from, what organization that you're involved with, or what school system. We are people just like everyone else. So
that's right.
I really appreciate your being involved, and I want to thank both you, Michael, and Greg, for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you getting the word out about our exchange program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. I'm Patrick. Thank you for listening.